Hello, and welcome back to the C-Suite Mama podcast. We are here on episode 8. I'm so excited. I'm always excited because we always have phenomenal guests. But today is extra special. Again, another one of my good girlfriends. We have the new doctor, Leah Angel Daniel. Welcome her to the show, everyone. Thank you for being here, Leah.
Thank you for having me, Shay. I truly appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. So proud. We say newly Dr. Leah.
Yes.
Tell us, why are we calling you Dr. Leah? What did you just do?
So I just defended my dissertation April 15th at St. John Fisher University in Rochester, New York. This has been a long time coming.
Yes.
So I graduate on Saturday, and I am just very excited. It's been a long journey. Now it's completed, and I am ecstatic.
That is so beautiful. We are all so proud of you. All of Buffalo is cheering for you. So you completed your dissertation in what? Tell us, what's your research about?
So my doctoral degree is in executive leadership, and my defense was based on exploring post-traumatic growth in African-American women who identify as transformational leaders who have experienced the foster care system.
Wow, that's such a complex topic. Also a perfect segue into why we're here today. Obviously, the C-Suite Mama podcast, I'm talking to amazing mothers who are also leaders. Tell us, you lead in 2 different areas. So
Yes.
Tell us about what you do professionally every day.
So I run 2 different organizations. I'll speak first about my newest venture.
Yes.
In September, I became the newest executive director of the African American Cultural Center, which is one of our most biggest pillars here in the city of Buffalo and oldest.
Yes.
And basically it is on the east side of Buffalo where the May 14th massacre happened. And in this particular part of the neighborhood on the east side of Buffalo, we're rebuilding. And so right now I am in charge of a major project for $22 million where we will be building a new building.
Yes.
For the African American Cultural Center. So I'm there starting new, founding a new just organization in a sense that building it up better and renovating the building that we have and adding more on and just bringing something community-wise for the east side of Buffalo.
It really is a pillar for folks who are not from the city of Buffalo, who might not be familiar with what they do at the African American Cultural Center. Can you tell us about some of the programs that kind of have been staples there and what you intend to bring?
Yes, so the African American Cultural Center started in 1958 by 3 men. One founder was Malcolm Ernai, and basically he wanted our people to know about our history, but not also just know about it, be excited about it, to do more and be more, within the Black community. So right now they offer dance and drum classes. We also have a dance and drum company that performs throughout the city of Buffalo and beyond. We also have an after-school program in which it is free. I believe we are the only free after-school program in the city of Buffalo. And we have a summer program called Jumping Jambalaya, which we have each summer. And then one of the biggest things that we have too here in the city of Buffalo for the first 2 Sundays in August is the Pine Grill Jazz Reunion. So our organization is intergenerational. There are a lot of people who come in and say, I remember when I grew up here, this center saved my life, the people that was here. And then the last executive director who was there, Ms. Bain, people talk about her legacy and what she did. She was there for over 30 years at the African American Cultural Center. And in our time, we don't hear people saying that long at jobs, but she did leave a huge legacy. And so right now I am there at the African American Cultural Center. People are coming by. It's lively again. And again, just wanting to just rebuild the community over in that area, especially that's been impacted by trauma and loss.
Absolutely. It's such an important space. It has a personal relationship to my own life. As a working mom, I had to rely on the African American Cultural Center for after school for my son for a season and summer camp for my son. And especially with him going to a predominantly white schools, it was really important for me to allow him to kind of be embraced in that culture. So I'm so grateful, and I'm glad that work is continuing with you.
Thank you. And you remember our kids went there together. They was going to a Saturday program. So we both had to rely on it. And as I share more about my second endeavor, growing up, as you and I were teenagers together, participating in different plays and different things in the community, my cousin took me to the African American Cultural Center, and that's when I met Miss Bain. And I just remember the feeling of going in there and feeling just safe and at home.
Yeah.
So for such a time as this, that I would be back there.
I
was
full circle moment.
Right,
I love
exactly,
that. I
exactly.
love that. So you spoke about, you just touched on being a foster youth during that season in your life when you met Miss Bain. How does that connect? Tell us how that connects with your second venture that you have going.
So I am also the founder and executive director of Fostering Greatness, Inc., which is a nonprofit organization that assists the foster care community, particularly Black and brown youth who are transitioning out of the foster care system. Our biggest endeavor right now is building housing that is safe, sustainable, and secure for youth who are aging out. You know, a lot of our young people are preyed upon, and that's PREY.
Yes.
You know, especially the Black men and the Black women. And we wanted to create a space where they have access, opportunity, and community support, and where they're able to build community for each other. So as you stated about being in foster care, I grew up in the foster care system, and many times you'd be like, Leah, I didn't even know you were in foster care, but it was a different time. I had many mentors and people who truly believed in me, my church home. But it was a very, very hard time for me, you know, watching my mother, you know, go through mental health and drug abuse, and then having my younger siblings, helping take care of them, and just really not knowing where I fit in because, you know, I was smart, I was a bookworm, and in the Black community, you know, my cousins would say, oh, you think you're white, you know, and I'm like, no, I just want to learn. I want to do these things. And my mother has 5 children, and I was the only one who wasn't a drug-addicted baby. So before she got into any of the at-risk behavior she was in, she instilled education in me and the different things that I could do. And so I held on to that. My mother was very intelligent and beautiful herself. And so I think all of her kids got a part of that, but that's where Fostering Greatness, Inc. was birthed from, just providing a safe space. And for a long time, I ran away from that. I was like, I do not want anything to do with foster care. I don't want to do this. But it just seemed like everything just kept coming back to that. And when the pandemic happened, right before that, I was pregnant physically and then pregnant with this idea. And it was birthed. And when the pandemic happened, there were so many young people contacting me about housing and how they were out here couch surfing. They were in domestic violence situations, just having unwanted pregnancies, being in situations where people were abusing them. And I said, how can we provide an atmosphere where these young people aren't in survival mode, but where they're able to thrive? And again, having the basic necessities, but not only that, having people that look like them to show them the route or the path that they have available, the different options they have, because you don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
So that's how Fostering Greatness came to be. And when I just submitted to just my calling, everything opened up for me. And so again, as I said, being in the African American Cultural Center was full circle, because it helped me to remember that society can say whatever they want to say about youth who grow up in at-risk situations, but at the end of the day, God has the last say. And so I never thought I would be where I am today doing the things that I'm doing, and I feel amazing about it. And not only does it help the community, but it helps me to know that my purpose is bigger than I ever thought it could be, and that when I'm no longer physically here, that legacy still will be left.
Absolutely. That's so beautiful. You have certainly eloquently stated how you found your way founding your own nonprofit organization. Obviously, we all have started somewhere in our career. How did you end up in this seat? Because we're C-suite mama, right? And so you are in this executive role at a anchor institution here in Western New York. What was your career journey like to be at the top of this very important organization?
I actually went to school to become a news anchor for broadcasting and mass media.
I didn't know that.
This was not what I envisioned. So I thought I was going to be the next Oprah. And then when I graduated with my bachelor's degree in Oswego, I decided to stay at school, and I took the major of English. And during that time, a lot of my professors like, I think you would be a good teacher. I started doing women's studies and, you know, just different things. And I found out that a lot of our Black and brown students in college don't know how to read or write. And so I said, okay, well, I want to teach that. And so as I began to do that, I actually got a job in Burbank, California at the Mario Lopez show at Warner Brothers. And I was going to be an assistant to the writers at that show. And one of my younger brothers was still in foster care. He had 2 failed adoptions, and he was placed in a psychiatric center. And when he was placed there, he was violated. So that's how I ended up back in Buffalo, leaving the job, coming back here to take care of him. And I said, okay, what am I going to do? So the writing, English, wanting to be community-based, I started teaching at Erie Community College and Bryan and Stratton College. And I just started teaching people of all ages. And a lot of them would say, about their life stories and what they had gone through and, their access to education and wanting to know, how does writing connect to business majors? How does writing connect to these other things? And so I would have those conversations. So teaching fueled me. And from that point, I decided to go back to school for my PhD, which would have been in English education. At the time, I fell and broke my wrist at work, couldn't write, so I had to learn how to rewrite all over again. And at that time, that's when I was connected to nonprofit organizations, doing a lot of program management. I also write curriculums and different programmatic things, so schools would hire me for that. I did a lot of behind the scenes work for Say Yes, the parent centers. So it was a lot of consultant work that I was doing. But since I was a child, as you know, people have placed me in leadership positions. And I'm like, even if I don't want to be placed in that area, but people know that I'm going to get the job done. I'm going to be honest and upfront. And if I can do something, I will let you know what my capacity is. If I cannot, then I won't. And so from that point, I have been in leadership positions at organizations that people have not even been able to get their way into, which is the Community Foundation, the CAO, all of these different places, Open Buffalo, just in different leadership positions where I've learned how the system works in different areas, and then saying, maybe this is for me, maybe this isn't, but for the African American Cultural Center, I was sought out for this position.
Yeah, I remember that, and they couldn't have picked a better person. That's really exciting. You. Absolutely. And I love learning all these new things about you. I feel like every time we sit down to talk, I've learned something. I'm like, I didn't know that. I had no idea that you had written for the Mario Lopez show. That's so cool.
Oh, yes. I was so excited.
Yes, that is so cool. And so, as I said, we talked about the C-suite, but we can't not talk about the mama piece.
Yes.
Tell us about your kiddos, if you don't mind.
So I have 2 vivacious and beautiful daughters that are 2 different parts of me. And every time I see them every day, I just laugh in the inside because I'm like, this is a part of myself that I'm seeing walking in human form. So I have a 15-year-old daughter named Legend Sanaa. 15. Yes. Lord, give me the strength. And then a 5-year-old named Jewel Penelope. So she thinks she's 15, and then the 15-year-old thinks she's 5. So, just those different dynamics. But I never thought I would have children because I've been raising my siblings the majority of my life. And when I was pregnant with both of my daughters and the connections we made while they were in utero is something that I can't even explain.
Completely
and
different. I
have to tell you, Shay, I was apprehensive about being a mother because with my mom, I didn't have the connection that I thought a mother and daughter should have, or what you would see on TV, maybe, with the Huxtables or these different renditions of what a nuclear family would be. And so I said, I don't feel like I have the tools. What is it going to be for me? But I just began to connect with my babies through, the womb. And from there, we have these unbreakable bonds. I'm learning as a parent, it's not easy. I don't have the traditional foundation or the traditional help and support that I see most of my friends have when they have their parents. And sometimes that really hurts, you know. My mother passed in 2021, so the point that I'll never be able to see her clean and being able to help raise my kids or see my kids grow up, that hurt and that loss is still there. But then I'm just grateful, again, to just see them blossom and to be able to be in a position where I recognize that, I understand that, I appreciate that. And I am learning along the way. And from any parent that I've encountered, they all say there's no right or wrong. You're going through from your lived experience and your perspective. And for me, I just feel like, do I give my kids everything I didn't have? And not that I didn't have a good life, because growing up in foster, that was only part of my story. Being in foster care, I had a very rich life where people invested in me, where I invested in myself, and I learned a lot along the way. But again, it's nothing like having your mother and father.
For sure.
And so again, having that first ambiguous loss of them when they were, here, my mom is deceased, but my father is still living. We don't have the best relationship because, how do you teach your parents to parent you, And so as a person, a Black woman in a C-suite position, I have learned how to navigate life to get the things that I need that will keep me strong, and then to put the things to the side that no longer work for me.
So, I had one particular question set up, but I want to skip around a little bit because you spoke on traditional support systems, and I'm sure there are many women who are currently in leadership positions or women who want to be in leadership positions but feel like they can't pursue that path because they don't have the quote unquote necessary, the support that they see from everyone else, in the nuclear family. So what did that look like for you to be able to build supports or support yourself while you were kind of climbing your career ladder?
I had to be open and honest about the type of support I needed. I am the only one in my immediate family who has ever gone for a doctoral degree. So people really don't know. And because you've started your journey with the doctoral degree, it is a lot of mental stress.
Pause that journey.
Yes, but it's you got to take your breaks. I did too. But it is a lot of mental strength. And as a mother, we have to have mental and physical strength for that, emotional strength. Then with our jobs, especially as Black women going in, being all to everybody, and then going into that journey for schooling, it's like, what do you have left over?
Yeah.
I went through a period of time where I felt guilty because I was just like, here it is, I have my own children now, I've raised my siblings, but I don't even have the energy or the strength to do the things that need to be done. But then the other part of me was like, I'm doing this for us.
Yeah.
And why do I now have to compromise the things that I want in life after I've helped everybody else? I need to finish this. And I knew what would happen once I finished, that on the other side of this, I would be able to have a different type of life for myself, and not only for myself, but for my kids, and to show them the journey that I've gone through.
That's beautiful.
And I'm very transparent and open and honest, about this, about life, and I tell my oldest daughter all the time, I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me about my situation. You don't have to feel sorry, but just be understanding, because it's a different type of grind, as I call it, a different type of hustle that I had to be on my entire life. And then now it's time for me. And when you are a person that has walked with everybody else and you've never put yourself first, that's going to ruffle some feathers. So that ruffled a lot for me.
So talk about that a little bit, because I can certainly identify with needing to put up boundaries and, prioritize certain things and people not always understanding. So how have you navigated that, and what would you recommend for folks who are trying to figure that out?
Oh, it wasn't easy, honey. It wasn't easy. Even with my siblings, although they are adults, they were angry. I need you to be here to do this, to do that. And I'm going to be very open and honest. In my marriage, when I was married, that caused some dissension because I wasn't the full-time wife. I wasn't all of these different things that I needed to be for everybody else. But when the pandemic happened, my youngest daughter, I had her over the age of 35. So they call you geriatric. And my body began to change. Different things happened. I was in a car accident. The baby went breech. And so at that time, I had to focus on my health, Shay. And I was like, what is happening? Things are changing. Things are swelling. I don't know. It's just different. And when I kept saying, I don't feel well, nobody would listen. It's girl, you don't look sick. You're good. Let me give you this work. Let me do this. I don't feel well. And each time I had to get louder and louder. And I said, what do I have to do? Go lay out in the middle of the street to show you that I am not okay. And my mother was very sick at that time. My mother overdosed twice. And during the pandemic, where I couldn't get into the hospital to see her. And I got a call one day where the doctor said, if your mother continues to utilize the drug of her choice, she will no longer be here. And so again, that reality for me set in, that stress, that anxiety, on top of teaching my oldest daughter at home, having a C-suite job where everything is expected of me, a new baby, breastfeeding. Okay, you already know about that. The doctoral program. So now they're expecting me to do everything virtually. Cooking, cleaning, being, I'm a social person, being in the house, no type of social anything. And everything all on me. And all of the coping skills and mechanisms that I utilized before no longer worked for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do. And all I would say, and even my baby goes around the house and say this, I would say, Lord, give me the strength. Because I didn't know what else to do or say. I didn't know what to ask for. I didn't know who to call. Because the other thing about being a Black woman in leadership, when you show vulnerability, people will sometimes weaponize that. And that's what I went through.
So how do you either protect against having your vulnerability weaponized, or how do you respond to having your vulnerability weaponized?
I had to change my mindset.
Oh.
A lot of times we associate shame with the things that we go through. And then they had this new thing. Remember, you and I were talking about the soft life. What does that look like?
Yes.
And I would say to myself, what can I set into place to make my life easier?
So make your own soft life.
Yes, exactly. Because it starts with you. You have to teach people how to treat you. And a lot of times we live here in the city of Buffalo. Seeing is believing. A lot of people aren't risk takers here, but if they see other people doing things and it work, then they'll jump on the bandwagon. So for me, I had to first lose that anger. And I had to understand what type of culture I came from, where generation after generation, what people look on the outside and say, oh, that may be dysfunctional. It was normalized in my family. So working hard, doing whatever you need to do to raise your family. And the women in my family were very strong, generation after generation. But I saw how mental health set in, addiction, and how a lot of them just regretted the decisions they made in life. And I was like, I don't want to be like that, And so I went to therapy again, and we started doing it online. I had some prayer partners. I sought out older people who had some lived experiences and who could give me some wisdom about how to navigate life.
That's good.
In general. And also I have my Foster Care Alumni people, who we would bounce ideas off of each other and what would help. Like even a couple of my friends, like once the pandemic passed, they flew down to help me with the kids just so I can get some rest. My cousins, my girlfriends. So I had to learn what to ask for.
That's so good.
Then I started doing things for my body, like grieving when my mother passed, grieving of what could have been, grieving of what I didn't get to experience with her. That was hard for me. And then my younger brother, who I came to Buffalo for, passed a year later. So dealing with all of that and then not having the support that I felt that people should have given me during that time. So I had to let go of a lot of things and expectations. And so I started going to Buffalo Hydration, first getting my body together.
Yes, and we still got to have our date because we did not get a chance to do that.
Yes, we do. Yes. So just getting, these, and I would see it like a lot of times in Miami and the other people. And a lot of times it was for the people who went out drinking and needed to get hydrated afterwards, but really just the vitamins and things that, you need for your body. Massages. Going for stretches, learning about the fascia and how in our body trauma lives. And if we don't get it stretched out and all these different things, your body starts to cramp up and do all these different things. So learning, affirmations, and again, disassociating that shame, from my experience and being open and honest. So people can't weaponize anything against you that you are upfront with and that you're no longer ashamed about. So you can't, yes, it happened. And my one friend says, Leah, you're doing the best you can with what you have. And so some days that could be 100%, some days that could be 5%.
Yeah.
And she said, you have to be okay with that. Yeah. You're doing your best. What else? You can't do anything. You can't clean the whole house in one day. You can't be Superwoman. Stop trying. Nobody is expecting that from you. Do what you can, and you got to be okay with it. So that's how I was able to get through the doctoral program. I said, okay, well, the kids going to have to listen. Some days they're going to have McDonald's or, or sit here and play on the tablet while I finish this work because it's not going to be like this always.
Yeah.
And then there was a book that got me through. My pastor, George Du Bois, when I was younger, he gave me this book. called Don't Die in the Winter, Your Season is Coming by Dr. Millicent Hunter. And so it helped to change my mindset to know that bad times don't last always, and you got to get through that season. And so what is the lesson? What am I learning about myself? What am I learning about my community? What am I learning about just systems that are set in place? And so I feel like that's what got me through, being more mentally strong, coming to a point of understanding, and to take that rest. I love naps now. Like and being at home when it's nice and quiet, the girls are at school, and I just take that time. And if I need to take that little extra grandma nap, that's what I do.
And that's a surprise that you are at home, because, you're not the homebody kind of. So I love that for you.
But taking advantage of it when I can. And then going out of town and taking the time for myself, because even thinking like, when is the last time I took a trip
that wasn't
a conference, business associated, helping other people? I haven't done that. So at the end of this month, that's what I'm doing. I call it my 6 days of silence in Bali. So that's where I'm going.
Okay, make sure you send me the date so I don't text you. No, I love that, and I'm so happy for you. Now, I wasn't going to touch on this, and I didn't include it in the questions, but you brought it up. And so, you can feel free to share as much or as little. But I think it's an important conversation that folks haven't had yet here on these couches.
Okay.
You spoke about navigating a marriage.
Yes.
While your climb to the top and being in a C-suite. What kind of recommendations do you have for folks who are, that's a difficult thing, is society does not necessarily celebrate women in powerful positions while also trying to be moms.
Right.
Or wives, rather. So talk about that a little bit, as much as you are willing to share.
Absolutely. So I've been married twice, as you know. And thinking about my upbringing, no one ever really explained to me what marriage was supposed to really be about. For me, I just wanted somebody to navigate life with, where we would build our own traditions, build our own family, because I felt like I was starting from scratch. And especially when I had my younger brothers, I wanted a team, a teammate, a team player, and things like that. But the people who chose me when I was married chose me during my times when I didn't really know who I was. I wasn't walking in the power and the purpose that I have now. And so they didn't grow with me, and so that's what caused the ascension of the marriage and just being on two different pages, and again, neither one of these men, because each one I was married to, I was in a doctoral program when I was with them. They've never had women of my caliber, and so it's hard. I know that I'm a very acquired taste, I'm very social, but I shared with them, the vision I had for my lives, and they were not able to go on that with me. So with that, just being open and honest, it's hard. Relationships are hard in a sense where we all change. None of us stay the same. And even with just Black men in general, them trying to find who they are, and if they haven't had the opportunity to mature and grow, and as women, we mature and grow faster, and they're seeing that, and they're like, well, am I going to be left behind? So part of that is fear, depending on their relationship with their mothers and what they felt that they were missing or didn't. And for me, I was a nurturer. So when that attention left and went to something else, I don't think either one of the marriages in that situation could survive, because these men were used to me being there.
So what would you say to a professional single mom who wants a partner and trying to like, what kind of, knowing what you know now, having done it twice, what would you advise
Don't
her?
rush it. Okay. Don't rush it. What's for you is going to be for you, right? We all want to be loved on and celebrated and things of that sort, but find you a friend, somebody who is going to support you. And that's what I said. I want a purpose partner, next. I want a person who's going to cover me, a man who isn't intimidated by all of my strengths, but at the same time has protected me, and where I feel safe to the point where I can let down all my guards, all those years of being disappointed by, my father or, just other men who were supposed to stand in place for me, because he's doing the job. And he's going to be honest when he can't stand in the gap, and he's not going to feel less than, so that type of thing, that open communication.
Yeah. That's
so those things. But if you don't have it, it's not the end of the world. If you want it, you can find it. But at the end of the day, if we are strong in who we are, we will attract who we're supposed to have. And if you see, you have work to do, because we all have individual work to do on ourselves.
Absolutely.
Do the work, and then you'll attract who you're supposed to have.
Absolutely. That's so good. So I hope y'all take notes.
Yes,
that was a good gem.
Yes.
Switching gears a little bit to the motherhood piece, how do you feel like your leadership roles have kind of influenced your parenting style and vice versa?
So I was trying to build, little leaders with my daughters. They have they're very strong-willed, strong personalities.
She walking around talking about, Lord, help me. So.
Yes, Lord, give me the strength.
Give me the strength.
Yes.
The 5-year-old.
So my oldest daughter, she's more laid back. She reminds me of myself when I was just the teenager that didn't want to really deal with anybody, and, was very opinionated and things of that sort. And I think part of her, she's trying to find her own self and who she is, so she doesn't want to connect in the way that the younger baby does with leadership. The baby will say to me, Mommy, you're boss lady and I'm boss baby.
I love it.
Everything. I mean, she's the riskier side of me.
I love it.
And, we call her Miss President, and she's just very vivacious like me, in the sense where she's bold and she wants to. She said, I want to be just like you, Mommy. And she watches me, both of them do. And my daughter will say sometime, the oldest one, when I tell her about something, I say, Legend, don't do it. Well, Mom, you do it. Or your sibling said you used to be like that. I said, but this was a different situation. I'm telling you, don't do that,
Right.
So just seeing them in their own right, and really just building them up, to be who they need to be for themselves. And my goal is just for them to be prepared when I'm no longer here, for them to be able to navigate life on their own, and to remember, all of the things that was taught to them to navigate life in the best way that they can. So
that's beautiful.
It's been, it's been rocky, but I've had more good moments than not so good.
That's beautiful. Now, before you came in, you were talking about the fact that you do some professional mentoring.
Yes.
What is one piece of career advice, professional advice, that you wish you could have told your younger self?
Take advantage of everything.
Okay.
Everything.
Like what do you mean?
So when I was in college, I wanted to just study abroad. But for me, the mindset of being in foster care, in survival mode, I was in IRA. They said, well, your position may not be available when you come back. And my first thought process, how am I going to finish paying for school?
Yeah.
Where am I going to stay? What am I going to do? So that type of stuff, because I didn't have a strong support of people to basically house me and do all these things where you see kids can go back home to their parents or have their tuition and things paid for. So I didn't get to do that. So I said, as an adult, I'm going to travel the world. Also, seek out mentors.
Yeah.
Their mentors serve for different things. A lot of my mentors I've had over 20 plus years.
Wow.
And a lot of them have helped me financially in different programs and different things that I needed to go into when I didn't have the means. A lot of them have walked with me through life situations. A lot of them have helped me with my daughters. A lot of them have just prayed for me, through certain situations and been there when I needed them. And also where I've been able to support them in different areas. So I help people write books. A lot of them like, Leah, we need to write our book. And our book? No, that's your book. You just want me to get the story.
So now, how did you find your mentors? Because you said seek out mentors. What did you do? Because I know you're bold, right?
Yes.
Like you're gonna ask for what you want. How did you go about getting your mentor?
So I am a researcher. I seek out people that I feel are connected to different things, but also I engage in programs where they match me with mentors. And so if they match, so like Big Brother, Big Sister, right now with the development and things that I'm doing, I went through Urban Land Institute and they assigned me a mentor. And this sister is bad. She had over a $3 billion portfolio for real estate, and she's from Jamaica, but she's in New York City, like those things. And we still have our mentorship and relationship. And so it's just different people who, when I meet them, if it's meant for more than that season, I stay connected to them. And then my other mentor, who's the president of LIST, Valerie White, she lets people know, yes, I love Leah. This is like my child and I'm there for her. And I met her through her daughter. I was a mentor to her daughter in college, and me and Valerie just latched on to each other. But I think when a lot of them learn my story, they feel the need to assist me. And one mentor who I had when I was 15, who Lord knows I needed her in my life, Miss Rose Washington. She's currently in Florida and in her 80s. Wow. I was in the foster care agency, and she said, you have it. And I'm like, what is it? Who is this? What is this lady talking about? And she said, you have that it factor. So she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And Shay, when I tell you, at that moment in my life, I was going through so much and contemplating what I was going to do with my life. Being a teenager, my mother was in prison at the time. My siblings were it was just a lot of stress on a 15-year-old. Yeah. And Miss Washington coming into my life changed everything for me. That's and even when I went through my first divorce, she was like, okay, I'm going to walk with you through this. And I was like, I don't want to be a single parent. I don't know. This is not how I wanted things set up, and I didn't plan for it. I did everything right. Right. She said, it's okay. Relationships end, but nobody had a conversation with me like that. She said, relationships end. It is okay. What did you get from the situation? Yeah. How are we going to move on? How are you feeling? And it is okay. Nobody had ever told me it was okay to have those feelings. It was okay to live in the moment. And so she helped me to be human. That's so good. And I'm sure that piece helped somebody today. Yes. Thank you. So, and it's okay. And it's okay. And just get through it. It's a part of life. Right. Yeah. Life happens. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. So we're going to jump into a little fun round. Oh, yeah. If you don't mind. So we're going to do our lightning round. So I'm just going to ask you some questions that you have not been able to prepare for, and just give me the first thing that comes to your mind. Perfect. Tell us about your morning routine. How do you start your day? Oh, my goodness. It's crazy every morning with the toddler. She really sets the precedence for everything. She'll wake up sometimes in the morning and say, oh, it would be so nice if somebody would feed me breakfast. No. Okay, I am not a morning person, Shay. I move like a sloth. So Jewel determines how the day goes. Yes. Okay. So I'll put on some music in the morning, getting us together, a little bit of breakfast, whatever we decide to eat, but we get out that door. Okay. We get out that door. Good stuff. Give us a productivity hack. What keeps you productive and organized? So I really need to invest in a personal assistant just for me in general. That's what I need. But the app Asana, okay, I love it. Tell us about that. I'm not familiar. Oh, so it helps you with your meetings. It helps. Oh, the project management tool. Yes. Okay. Yeah, my goodness. And so that's very helpful. But I have to have something that's visual, written out, and something that's in my phone that matches up, because I need to have access to my schedule and different things like that. So that's what works for me. Okay, that's a good one. Write that down. Who's your inspirational figure? Who do you look up to? I would have to say my mentor, Valerie White. Good stuff. You know, she went through school. She had her 2 daughters. One of her daughters had a brain injury, so at the time when she was going through law school, she had to deal with that. She's raised 2 beautiful daughters, and even her daughter who had the brain injury, now she lives on her own through a program, and she has really helped her daughter become independent. Wow. She's very supportive. So you need to get Ms. White on the C-Suite Mama podcast. Oh, yes. She just left Buffalo today, so she's in New York City. We can do it virtually. That's okay. Yes, but she's phenomenal, and she's the president of LISC, and she really helps build up Black and brown professionals, and I just see her in action, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to be like her when I grow up. What's your go-to stress reliever? Naps and massages. Love it. Your favorite book or podcast recently? Yes. So my favorite podcast is, so far, I've been recently listening to Anthony O'Neill. I'm trying to get my money right. Okay. I'm not familiar. Yes. He's on Instagram, but he talks a lot about just you don't have to basically deprive yourself when you're trying to save, and how your mindset and how to get different things done. And he travels a lot too, so I love that. We love that, yeah. Yes. What's my favorite book? My favorite book is my own book right now. Yes, plug it. Yes, I Shall Not Be Moved, My Extraordinary Journey from Trauma to Triumph. So it's not just a book. It has a musical playlist in there, journal entries, but also thinking about pillars of different things that you can use as affirmations for yourself. So reminding myself of how far I've come and where I want to go. That's beautiful. And we'll make sure we link that in the show notes too. Yes. Tell us a hidden talent, something that people don't know you can do. Basically, I am a connector. I know people know that I know a lot of people, but I get a lot of people together. I like to do like secret meetings, and I'm a matchmaker. So I like to get people together, and I just love community. So that's type of thing that people may not know. And I help people write books. So
now that's the part. Yeah, I didn't know that part. I feel like I'm a connector too. I'm certainly not a matchmaker. Don't let me matchmake you.
You used to be. You used
Girl,
to be.
And I failed, and none of it worked out. But I am a connector with people and organizations and stuff like that. What's your guilty pleasure?
Eating ice cream, and I know I'm lactose intolerant.
What kind of ice cream?
Oh my goodness. Maple walnut, all these different types.
Flavored.
Yes, but listen, but they have the new, what is it? Yasso, Yasso is Greek yogurt. They have different flavors out now. And so now I have the girls eating it. Jewel had birthday cake. Legend had the cookies and cream. But it's good. It's easy on your stomach.
Okay, we'll check that one out. Okay, I know you gave a piece of career advice, but what's the best piece of career advice you've received?
The best piece of career advice I received is doing what's best for me, because the organization is going to be there. And if you don't take care of yourself, you won't be there.
That is so true.
Navigating that to where it works for you and also the organization. So not neglecting either, but learning how to just put it in a way where you're able to take care of your health too.
I love that. What's one item that you always have on your desk?
A bottle of water.
Okay.
Got to stay hydrated.
We do. And then our final lightning question. What's one word to describe your career journey?
One word. Wow.
Or you can give me a phrase. I know one word is hard.
I know one word is very hard. So something to describe my career journey. Monumental.
I love that.
Why
monumental?
Because you have the ups and downs.
Yeah.
And everything played a part in where I am today. Absolutely. So whether it was the times that I felt unsupported, the times that I just utilized everything from those particular positions that I was placed in, and then thinking about the impact that I've had on others. Because see, when you're a leader, even though you leave an organization, that leadership that you've expounded upon people never leaves.
Absolutely. I say that all the time when I am telling younger professionals about my career journey, how every experience connects. Yes. And I think sometimes we think just the professional stuff, but even your personal stuff can really connect to bring you to that moment, that major opportunity. So thank you for that. We know that your personal life has played such a huge role in your career and the development of who you are as a person. May is a very important month for you. So talk about this month, what you have going on, where the folks can find you, all that good stuff.
So May is Foster Care Awareness Month. Each year, Fostering Greatness, Inc. provides a big blowout called the Luggage of Love Drive, where we assist the foster care community. So it could be those who have aged out. There's no age restriction or organization restriction. People who are in need can come. So we hold it each year. This year it's going to be on Thursday, May 23rd at the Northland Workforce Training Center from 5 to 8 p.m. So we have a DJ. We have catered food from TNC Catering and to-go trays for when everybody get ready to leave and need to take all that food home. New luggage, undergarments, socks, toys, clothing. I shop throughout the year for this event. We also have people who come and volunteer, especially from M&T Bank. I have to shout them out. They have been such a big supporter of Fostering Greatness
in the community. They're amazing.
And AACC. And, shout out to Shannon Johnson and Rashida McDowell and Trisha Granum. They have been just such major players with helping me get the things that I need for this particular community. But again, May 23rd.
For people who don't know, why luggage? Why is that important?
Yeah, so there's a video on our website at www.fosteringgreatnessinc.org. A lot of young people who are placed in foster care either are taken from school or from home with the items that are in their hands. And a lot of times they have plastic garbage bags. And so a lot of them feel disposable that they've shared when they have that, and people treat them that way. So I wanted to bring some type of humanness back to, you know, the situation. Even though it, you know, it's not a good situation that they've come from, they can change the atmosphere and the mindset for that. So we have luggage for them to put their things in, so that when they do move, or when they do go or to move their things, they have something that they can call their own, and it's theirs.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yes.
The Campbell family has a bunch of luggage for you that we
Thank
will
you,
be
thank
bringing
you.
on the
Yes.
23rd. So what else do you have happening? How can folks find you?
Yes. So again, at Fostering Greatness Inc., that's inc.org. On our website, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram. Also, I'm at AACC, which is the African American Cultural Center. We're located at 350 Masson Avenue. I'm here in the city of Buffalo, but also we have been on the news recently because we have a Buffalo Bills player who's the 4th draft pick, who is also an alumni of the foster care system, Ray Davis, and he may be making a guest appearance on the 23rd. So if you want to meet this nice, handsome young man who's had this lived experience and who's making strides in his life, you know, come on out. And we have a short documentary. We do work with Partnership for the Public Good. So not only are we doing things in the community, but we're working behind the scenes in policy and procedures to get things changed for this particular population. And so the city is going to deem May 20th as Foster Care Alumni Day. So we'll have more information for that, and we'll just have a week of events. I will send you everything, and it's going to be on our LinkedIn page and our Instagram page, and just follow us.
Awesome. And we'll make sure we link all of that information in the show notes. So folks who are local, you can attend. I'm sure there's a way on your website for folks who are not local to make a donation to support the cause. But thank you so much for this rich conversation. I always love talking to you.
Thank you for having me. And I just truly appreciate your dedication and your work that you have done to help me get the things done that I need to get done, not only for myself personally, but professionally.
Thank you.
Saying that,
my pleasure.
and having this here.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Well, thank you so much. Episode 8. That is a wrap for the C-Suite Mama podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, share it with a working mom that you know. I'm sure this episode and the 7 others, there will be lots of nuggets to help you on your career journey. So thanks so much for listening. See you next time.